Wow.
Okay, there it goes.
We're good.
We're good.
The October 6th, 2022 Police and Public Safety meeting. I'm going to begin by taking attendance. I have Councilmember Brennan here, Supervisor Puccioni, myself, Lieutenant Twitty. I have Chief Dale Lingenfelter from District 1, Comptroller Elizabeth Greenwood, Seth Goldstein. I have PBA Representative Jeff Relation, and also John. Am I missing anybody? No. Okay. First order of business. I need a motion to accept the August 4th, 2022 meeting. Just Brennan motion. Is there a second to that? All those in favor? Any opposed? And that motion carries. And now I need a motion to accept the September 1st, 2022 meeting minutes.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes. To begin with operations, the Police Reform Implementation Task Force meeting was scheduled for 9/1/2022, but was canceled due to and come up with a plan to complete the finalized report that's going to be submitted to the town board by the end of October. And I just want to say a special thanks to Marina Franchild and Dale Pennington for all of their hard work regarding this, because they have been instrumental in completing this and working towards that goal with us. Fleet and equipment, great news. The 602 replacement vehicle has been outfitted and put into service. In fact, we were able to do a second mini bid with the help of the Comptroller's office, specifically Janet Wynn. Our 6 vehicles were purchased, and we've actually already received them, which is excellent news, because we didn't anticipate getting them until probably next year. But we found a vendor that was able to fulfill that. We do, however, need to talk about a resolution to upfit the new vehicles through Niskuna Tire. That's been traditionally our vendor. And we would like to request that the town consider making Niskuna Tire a single source provider based on the Blueprint technology. This was something that was worked on, the single source concept, last year with Deputy Chief Stevens and at that time, attorney Paul Briggs. And I do have a letter I just want to read from Jason Hamilton, who is the president of the Specialized Vehicle Outfitting regarding the single source concept. He said, "To whom it may concern, this letter is to inform you that we are a sole source supplier in the capital region for sound off, signal, blueprint, automated light, and siren control systems. This gives us access to factory level support, diagnostics, and software needed to program and bring firmwares up to current. The next nearest Blueprint dealers are located in New Jersey, Buffalo, and Newark, New York. There are other sound off. And the reason that I'm reading that in is specifically because this is the equipment that we currently have in all of our vehicles. The concept behind the single source, and this is new to me, is really to expedite the possible upfitting of these vehicles rather than continuously going out for a request for proposal if we end up at the same endpoint anyways. I spoke with Chief Lingenfelter regarding this. He had suggested that I reach out to the parent company, who is in fact Sound Off Signal. And I reached out to them today, and they're going to send me some information verifying what Jason Hamilton, the president, is saying. And then we can have some further discussion about that and whether we need to go to board resolution or how we're going to handle that, or whether we do need to go to a request for proposal based on the outfitting. So just putting that out there. Is there any questions on that? No? Okay. Under fleet and equipment also, our agency is requesting a resolution to auction off the old 602, again, because the new one was put into service. We have a vehicle that is at the end of its life for our use, and we would like to auction that off and get some monies back to the town regarding that. Under fleet purchase, our agency interactive training for reality-based training, a software program to utilize on our interactive smart whiteboard. At the end of last year, we were able to sort of locate some monies, and we wanted to purchase upgraded technologies for our police department, but also in terms of training. And one of the things we were able to purchase was a smart interactive whiteboard. And I have to give kudos to Seth. He did all the research on it. He spoke with the vendors. And in fact, we were just at the DCJS symposium training, myself, Lieutenant Twitty, and the sergeants last week, and the only vendor with this type of software there was the same software that we purchased. So that's a kudos to Seth. I appreciate it. We look forward to implementing this training for not only our officers, but also potentially for civilians to be able to see sort of reality-based training that we encounter through scenarios that are live on a screen and you have to interact with. So that's excellent. Thank you, Seth. Lastly, the photocopy here / scanner and book also at the end of its life. There is a discovery grant that we're currently looking into in conjunction with Schenectady County. I've been speaking with District Attorney Bob Carney regarding this to see if that can fall under that. If not, we'll probably try to find money in the budget to be able to upgrade that equipment for this year. Building, ongoing issue, the Sally Port drain is currently plugged. I spoke with Superintendent of Highways, Ray Smith, the other day about some options. That may be something that we look to start digging on and replacing here shortly. Chief Lingenfelter from District 1 has offered for, in the interim, our agency to utilize the wash bays at River Road Firehouse. And we really appreciate that from the cooperation of not only the chief, but the fire department and everybody that plays a role in that. You know, it's hard because sometimes we just think that we're all here to support each other and just work together. But sometimes you have to go a little beyond just showing up to calls together and sort of sharing those services. And I can't say enough thanks to you, Chief, for allowing us to do this and hiring us out to it. So, yes, we'll complete field training as of October 8th of 2022, which is coming up here shortly. It's anticipated that she will be assigned to Sea Line, which is our afternoon shift. So congratulations to her here shortly, and we look forward to getting her out on the road by herself. Crude Spataro, so wish him the best of luck as he continues to progress. Other training officer, Archambault will be attending IDC school, which is instructor development course through, October 17th through 28th at the Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy. This course really gives the ability for somebody who has, a fair amount of time on to further their career in terms of enhanced training, because it's essentially a communications course for police officers to then teach and instruct other police officers, and it opens up a whole different world for potentially Officer Archambault to be an instructor in many other things and teach at the academy or teach internally and things of that nature. So it'll be good for him. Sergeant Party and Detective Daly will be attending the ICISF Group Crisis Intervention at Schoharie County. We're looking to build further peer support programs and also crisis intervention programs internally, and this is of that they will be trained in. Detective Sergeant Frenian will be attending investigator school at the Zone 5 Regional Law Enforcement Academy from the 7th of November through the 18th. Moving on, Mr. Mastrani is here now, so
I'm late. I wanted to get an oil change.
No, you're okay.
Should have bought another car.
Because you're here, I'm going to let you go first because you are on the list of ongoing, and I'll let you speak to what you would like to speak to.
Sure. How are you? I meant, talk about the complete streets, and we've talked and stuff. And I know we're up against it with personnel and manpower and Schenectady and all of the above, so to speak. But I don't know if it's just from when they took the slow down sign out, or I know the casino comes into play or what. But Saturdays used to be a little slower and Sundays are slow. Saturdays now are just like a Friday. We had another near miss. Somebody was going Lexington and turned. The kid was on a bike. I've read that Albany is trying to, I think I sent you the article, not a bump, but the humps. Reduce 77% of the flow, gets people to use the main roads instead of cutting through. Not only there, but, I've got a friend on Palmer. It's all over. So I did do a FOIL report request, which I don't know if you. So Baker, like when Officer Stevens did the count last, it was before the casino, and I think it was 540 cars a day, 200 this way through whatever on Wyoming. And I just assumed Baker and Lexington were About the same, fair to say?
I would have no idea, to be honest with you. We haven't run an analysis of,
Yeah.
I'd have to look to see what Baker
Yeah.
and Lexington were from. And
Yes, but I've talked with a lot of the neighbors and, you know, we know there's not a sidewalk and there's not a crosswalk and all that stuff, but there wasn't one speeding ticket written on any of the streets.
So I am familiar with your photo request, and one of the things we can talk about offline later, you requested Lexington Ave, and Lexington Ave is in Schenectady. So there were some other summons that wouldn't have brought the number substantially higher. But we've talked about the concept of a volume versus a speed problem.
Right.
And I mean, I brought all the analysis again that we've discussed, and in Wyoming, then we probably have any other roadway. And it consistently shows that people aren't speeding. We did a 1-year analysis where the average speed limit was 25 and the 85th percentile was 30. And so that would make sense why we didn't write two things there, right? Because we don't have.
Were some 46, 38.
There's outliers on every road, but there's not substantial crashes in that area, which is a part of, and a big part of, what we gear our enforcement towards. It's not only just speed concerns and analysis, but as a part of that analysis is the crash data that's substantial. Because we want to keep it safe. And it's hard because Wyoming, when we talk about all the different variables, it's a difficult area coming into Baker and sort of all of Wilderness Communal over there. But from a speed component, if we're separating them out, we have no idea. 5 or 6 studies over the years, and we've just never seen it. And we've never done a 1-year analysis on any road that I'm aware of. So I don't know how we could possibly stop the outliers, because that's a very difficult thing to do.
You don't think the humps like they did in Albany, that proved that it worked?
I don't make decisions on humps.
That's the board, right?
It's
Because the complete, even trying to get a stop sign or a, you know, and
but even stop
Nothing.
signs have to be dictated by analysis. And the analysis that I recall that Complete Streets did was more of a neighborhood canvas and some of the data we sent over. But I can tell you historically, because I looked at it again today, from 2014 through today, the average speeds have actually gone up. And so it's difficult to substantiate. Again, stop signs are not put in place to control speed, right? They're there to control the intersection specific to unsafe conditions. Has functioned appropriately for many years, and I don't know that we can necessarily just change it just a whole
well, I've seen a whole bunch of near misses on there. And I sent one to Yasmin that was that far from getting into.
Yeah.
You know, it's just 500 and something cars on that street. I mean, why would you buy a house? I would never have bought a house if I knew that time. Anybody on the street will tell you it's like not part of Niskayuna. It's not that.
In volume, we talked about this. I mean, since I've been here at the beginning of me last year through, we don't control volume. It's not something we can control. Our streets are open public ways that are used. Well, it's every street, right?
So it's not going to change. We're not going to put humps. We're not going to raise speeding tickets unless it's appropriate. It's
there
not
isn't
going to be.
speeding there that we can write tickets for consistently.
There's been a lot of people I've walked my dog that have been way over 45 miles an hour. Now, I've been there for 8 years. I mean, you could say that on any road, but I'm just saying to read that there was none, it's, you know.
Again, data doesn't lie, and the data shows that people are more often than not saying.
Okay, well, we can agree to disagree. You know, I just think that if there's none, it's, you know.
But again, Mr. Mastroni, how could we possibly write and dedicate a resource of it and write tickets when we continually run data that doesn't substantiate having someone there?
Park in my driveway at Friday at 4 o'clock.
I will send someone over Friday at 4 o'clock.
And boy, I'll tell you, people coming home, if there's a Schenectady football game, you could get noise, you could get kite, you could get a whole bunch of stuff.
I will send someone over there at 4 o'clock on
You
Friday
know,
to try.
I appreciate it.
I will. Just to touch on something else that you had brought up that was on this, the 25-mile-an-hour concept. We spoke about it in the last meeting. We did receive some updated information regarding the legislative change.
Yeah, I heard.
And,
Doesn't include-
unfortunately, it doesn't include our town. I just want to put it on the record out loud for anybody that's watching this. Town Attorney Finning looked at it with myself yesterday, and also Laura Robertson, the town planner. Our population does not fit the criteria to be able to, through board resolution, change the speed limit in the town.
Yeah, I read that. Chapman sent that.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, so. Okay, just going through ongoing, Scott and Tammy Kishbaugh, we're still having ongoing conversations internally about the Van Antwerp Road area regarding specifically the weight restrictions. Myself and Town Attorney Finnan have looked at this. I put this on the record last time. We have signage that is up in our town that was never adopted in the town code. And we are looking to address that the best way forward. And we need to continue to. The area between the bike path and river at Lions Park and no parking zone. Again, it's something we're looking at. We do have an agreement with the state regarding that property, and we're hoping that it could be something that we could just do ourselves without having to contact the state to make that happen potentially. Lance Hunt requested a stop sign on Cayuga Road at Algonquin Road. It is an uncontrolled intersection. I know Officer Munger has been working amongst other things that diligently obtained to continue to look over in that area to see if we can substantiate putting a stop sign there. Frederick Alber had stated concerns over speed and stop signs not being complied with in the area of Van Antwerp Road between Grand Boulevard and Main Street. We did do directed patrols area. I spoke with Officer Munger the other day, who's hitting the stop sign over in the Plum Street at Van Antwerp Road area pretty heavily. We did do a digital speed sign deployment. We also did a traffic study, and I'm just going to mention was the 5th of September at 11 a.m. through the 8th of September at 2 p.m. We had about 9,000 vehicles analyzed. The average speed, which is the 30-mile-an-hour zone there, the average speed was 26 miles an hour, with the 85th percentile being 33 miles an hour. That is a lower enforcement priority for us, even though we understand that there's a lot over there. There's to address. Again, Officer Munger was really being diligent on the stop sign. And we're going to continue to monitor that area sort of moving forward to work on that. Something new, Mary Matz, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, spoke with the supervisor's office regarding the crosswalk on Knott Street in front of the co-op. She stated that she feels it still isn't safe and requested further conversation regarding it. I did send an email to the county legislators regarding that. Two things I want to mention. The first is we need to work as a community to sort of relearn that area. There are now crosswalk buttons, and if you do not push those buttons, the lights don't activate. And those lights are very bright, and they're great signals. So it's incumbent on anyone that is a pedestrian to push that button to activate those lights. And I would encourage all our residents who utilize that area to continue to do. Something else that the legislators specifically mentioned to me was that they're in the final steps of having National Grid turn on the lighting in that area. So that's hopefully going to illuminate that area even more. That's in the works. Hopefully in the next week or two that's going to be done. And that will all be complete and very well lit for pedestrian traffic. Did anyone else have anything, citizen correspondence? No? Okay.
Do you have an email?
I think you might have.
Jordan on Wyoming, because I had mentioned there was a couple leaks in those, so they can go through even with the intersection.
I did receive an email from Mr. Robert Gillen, who I believe is one of your neighbors. He wanted to speak about Wyoming and some of his concerns as well. I did email him back. Unfortunately, we weren't able to connect today, but I am going to contact him and sort of talk through some of the things that we've already done and what he thinks we can do in conjunction with Mr. Mastriani to try to work together. Coffee with a Cop. The last farmers market is October 15th. It's also going to be our last Coffee with a Cop for the farmers market, obviously. And I would encourage everyone to come out and see us. We are going to continue this program every other month and look for a location. Actually, Sergeant Jeff Relation is in the process of scheduling it with our local businesses to try to get that program, a more robust program, continually established throughout the year. So look for those up and coming as well. The Mohawk Hudson, this is a bigger event. It's hopefully going to have minimal impact on folks because it is a Sunday. There's going to be a short time where Aqueduct is going to be closed, which is a good thing because it's going to keep everybody safe. So we will be over there on October 9th, assisting those folks as they transition through our town in conjunction with our emergency services personnel in District 1 and getting them on their way into Colony and on their way to. Again, the Niskuna Shred event is October 22nd. It's here. Our drug take back day is October 29th. Please bring any and all prescriptions to that to be destroyed. There's no cost to anyone. We would ask so that we don't take needles. So please do not bring your needles to that event. And then I just wanted to touch base on one thing that was not on the agenda. We did it last year. The Halloween costume parade is tentatively scheduled for October 30th. And we are going to attempt to do another open house and sort of haunted police department concept for the kids to come in and see what we do, enjoy us. I usually wear a pretty fun mask, so come out and see us. But we're going to do that in conjunction with our Lori Peretti and her department putting on the Halloween costume parade. I didn't receive anything from the town clerk. Didn't receive anything from the court. Chief, do you have anything for the fire departments?
Just, we're continuing the collaboration with you guys, with the UCC, county fire departments, county law enforcement on the active shooter training. We've gone around to all the associations in the county, kind of bringing them up to speed on the training to date. And we're in the early stages of planning an exercise here at the high school in the spring of next year. Kind of along with that, but not just related to that, the UCC is also looking at providing radios to the school districts. It's all one radio for each building, which will give them direct communication with dispatch. They won't have to try to get in through the phone lines should they have a major event, which we exercised over in Glenville Network. So we're meeting next week with the superintendent to hopefully get his buy-in on that. And next week's fire prevention week, so you'll see District 1, District 2 out there doing some fire prevention efforts in schools. Pretty much every year. That's awesome. Check your temperature.
From the school district, just to touch on them as well, we've been having ongoing discussions with the district safety team regarding the installation of Knox boxes for key access and also potential camera access to schools. The school district and things that we need to work with the school district hand in hand for safety purposes. Personnel, there will be another blast coming here shortly regarding how we're continually ongoing our recruitment mission for potential lateral transfers. Hopefully the next civil service test, which will be in September for police officers, will be out in time for us to process and hopefully hire someone in the January academy class. But if anyone knows anyone in hometown or they want to meet us in their hometown, please have them contact myself or Lieutenant Twitty and we'll start working through that process. Some other things, Laura Roberts, Police Streets, they talked about the Wyoming Ave and Baker Ave mini roundabout. I haven't demonstration, I'm sorry, in Lexington Parkway bike path demonstration. I don't know when that plan is planned for. Laura still hasn't communicated whether they have decided that those are the locations and that is what they're intending to do. I don't think we
Bill sent me an email and said, because it's not.
That's really all I have. I put the 2 resolutions that we spoke about. Does anyone have anything else to put? John, yes, sir.
I just want to put a plug in. I always appreciate attending these meetings. I think it's a really nice forum to get everybody in the room together and allow the citizens to watch. And I also like the fact that you keep track of your citizen concerns. So that makes me feel good. My 2 cents, I know that you always wonder about some big vehicles, so I wonder if, all these options all cost money and time, but I wonder if a letter to the Board of Ed or somebody just to remind those school buses, because I see them, and I can imagine that they're trying to make up time.
I can tell you with larger vehicles, because we had one. When an engine goes by me and I'm standing still, it seems like they're going 40, 50 miles an hour. They're doing like 20.
Right,
The perception is a lot different than yeah, absolutely.
It's hard because our bodies, our senses all play and intertwine with things. So like our sight, smell, hearing, so louder engines, the curvature of the road, there's a lot of factors that play a role in what our perception or a fast moving vehicle is. So
Yeah, so I'm walking my dogs in my neighborhood, there's no sidewalks, a school bus goes by, even if it's doing 25, it's gonna feel like it's doing 40,
Yeah, it's unnerving.
and maybe that's something we see.
all right. Well, if no one has anything else, there's just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor? And the next meeting is going to be scheduled for November 3rd, 2022 at 3:30 p.m. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and attending.
Thank you for hosting.